welcome! An American novelist and short story writer, Louis L'Amour, said, "There will come a time when you think everything is finished, and that would be a new beginning." So, this is a new beginning of the show called Now Showing, because every week is a new week and every show is a new show. I'm Atika, Farooqui. We take you through an exciting journey of content. Let's start with the headline. Anurag Kashyap and Taapsee Pannu's Dobaaraa is a meticulous murder mystery, thriller, sci-fi, time travel film that deserves a watch. A freewheeling chat with Vidya Balan about representation of women in the film industry and changing mindsets with the movies. Maharani and Tumbar star Sohum Shah talks about the film that changed his life. And Bollywood's favourite voice, Palak Muchhal, talks about completing a decade as a playback singer and making a difference to the society. Let's talk about this week's release, Dobaaraa. Well, Dobaaraa is an official Indian remake of a Spanish film called Mirage. It's a thriller, a delicious murder mystery that also has science fiction thrown in. If you had to attempt questions on verbal and non-verbal reasoning like I did in competitive exams for MBA, IAS or career in technology, you would know that at the beginning, solving a reasoning puzzle was a challenge, and as you start to do it on a regular basis, it becomes fun, intriguing and sharpens one's mind like an axe. Very rarely does a Hindi film intrigue you, set your common and uncommon senses thinking, forces you to nudge the next person and makes a guess for an answer. It's one such film. You feel ecstatic if you can guess who done it. A boy somewhere in the 90s in Pune, living alone with his working mom, who's a single mother, often records videos on his camcorder. A storm that night generated some kind of extra magnetic signals which connected his TV to future, where a woman who will ultimately come to live in the same house as the boy lives in can see the boy's future. She tells him, "Don't go out, you will be run over by a vehicle." As the boy senses a murder next door, he goes to help. But since the woman, Antara from future, has already taken up a few moments of Anay's time, he goes out, but the delay saves him from the accident. The film is based on butterfly effect, which means if one thing was changed in the history of events in the past, how would the present be different? And how many versions of present can be there in this case or film? Taapsee, that is Antara, lives 3 lives, means 3 realities, and the characters time travel. The place is the same, faces are the same, but their identities and life stories change. Brilliantly shot by cinematographer Sylvester Fonseca, Dobaaraa is mystical and grey in colour tone, making it gloomy and suspenseful. The woman next door was murdered 25 years ago, and Antara, who is a practicing nurse and a surgeon in another reality, is looking for her missing child, while Anay, the boy who witnessed the murder, is still looking for the murderer. This complexity is what makes it unique and fun to chew on. There are many characters and many faces that make the layers intense and confusing, but your mind is set thinking. The performances by Shashwat Chatterjee, Taapsee Pannu, Pavel Gulati and Rahul Bhatt and Nasser are quite splendid. The third reality is a mix of the first 2 realities, so by the time you come out, you would be dreaming of the last 3. It's worth watching on the big screen. I think you must go for it. Moving on now, Vidya Balan, in her own words, says, "A woman's sexiness is a vibe, not a body type." Also, the stories about women, representation of women in decision-making roles and an overall understanding of how women are participating in the entertainment content is something that warrants attention, as a recent study reveals worrying facts and data. Here is Vidya Balan and head of originals at Prime Video, Aparna Purohit, talking about what they found and what needs to be fixed. Vidya Balan, hello. And head of India Originals at Amazon Prime Video, Aparna Purohit. Hi,
Hello.
Aparna. And we talk about this very serious topic with them. I will share some important statistics. You know, what they found was, out of 750 HOD positions analyzed across 150 properties, both series and films, only 10% were occupied by women. Women tend to hire more women. 17% women HODs appointed when the commissioning in charge was female, as compared to 8% only when commissioning in charge was male. Not even one theatrical film out of 56 was directed or edited by a woman. Secondly, now we come to marketing. This was content. Marketing says a consolidated analysis shows that women have only 25% talk time in the trailers of the 150 films and shows had allotted female talk time, and men out-talk women 3:1 in trailers. 48 properties had trailers that allotted less than 10 seconds for the women to speak. Vidya, what do you have to say?
Because I think, we're not talking so much about the women on screen. There are enough women on screen. Do they have agency? Most often not. But behind the scenes, I think there are not enough women. Though I found the statistics shocking, because in my opinion, I felt like when I started out, there were barely 2 or 3 women on a set. There have been films on which there were no women at all. And now you see a lot of girls on set. So I thought, the situation has improved dramatically. But then when you see the statistics, you realize they all add up to only 10%, which is abysmal.
Yes.
Which is, which is very poor. But having said that, we still have come some distance.
Quite far.
We are doing much better than we were.
I think the purpose was that, I feel like we were living in this bubble. We felt that we've come a long way, that we're doing really good. Every time we talked about women representation on screen, we'd look at Vidya's films, and 3 of them recently launched on our service, and we thought we're doing fine.
Which are Jalsa, Cherni,
and
Shakuntala Devi.
And so we thought we're doing good. Look at our shows, so many, and they have very complex and led, strong women. We're doing okay. But when we see a report like this, you're right, it's stark. So we're living in a bubble because none of us had any data. But now with this data, we know that we have a very, very long journey ahead. And there may be women, but are they in decision-making, authority, roles of authority? Perhaps not. And we need to have more women in positions of influence. That is really critical. Only then will there be right representation, there'll be authentic representation, and there'll be diverse representation, I feel.
Do you think in your creative department, people who take calls related to what stories should be there, who should be the characters in those stories, you have more women in your creative teams?
I have more women in my team.
Nice.
And I have very feminist men in my team. So I have a very diverse team.
Oh, wonderful. What are the shoes that women need to have in order for them to excel at the workplace?
Amazon has very good mechanisms, actually. So for women who need to go on a maternity leave, for men there is paternity leave. There is a program called Rekindle for women who want to come back and join the workforce again after maternity leave, work from home, flexi hours. And I'd come from an indie space, where if you saved like a couple of lakhs, you were given a pat on the back, and you were really lauded for your efforts. And suddenly, here one was taking really big decisions. And I remember getting very nervous, and I remember I felt there was a Himalaya sitting on my chest, and I couldn't breathe. And I remember walking up to my boss, and I told him that, every other department is supporting my decision and is making their plans based on the decisions that I am making. What if I fail? What if these shows don't work? What's going to happen? And he says, when you run, you may fall, but you need to pick yourself up and start running again. Just ensure you don't fall at the same place again.
कहते हैं ना कि well-behaved women rarely make history. For you, Vidya, what are the things, the popular rules that you have broken?
I grew up in a traditional Palakkad Iyer family.
Say that again?
A traditional Palakkad Iyer family.
Palakkad Iyer.
Yeah, but not conservative. So even when I grew up and I thought, oh, फिल्में सिर्फ हीरो के वजह से चलती है. मुझे ये सब, मतलब, I was like, why? Why does it have to be like that? You know, but I didn't set out to break it, but because I didn't believe it, I think I managed to break it.
Yeah, right.
I didn't buy into that.
You didn't buy into that. Otherwise, we're all conditioned into things.
Yeah, you know, so rules, you have to be a certain body type to be a lead actor or to be a hero. Why? I look all around me and heroes come in all shapes and sizes. And I've had a history of some, you know, hormonal issues which, you know, made it very difficult for me to be that small size. And I fought it for a long time. We've spoken about it in the past. And then I said, but you know, why am I killing myself? Before every film, every director would come and tell me, can you lose some weight? Can you lose some weight? And then I'd go kill myself to lose the weight. And after a point, it stopped working. You know, nothing I did ever made me lose the weight. So at a certain point in time, I said, but heroes, though, they can look, you know, they can be of any skin color, any hair length, any body shape, size, height, whatever. So I said, okay, I started telling people, if you want someone of a different body size, then please go to another actor.
Look, for us, you know, it's the story.
Yeah.
I mean, we recently launched a show, a Tamil show called Sudal. And Shreya Reddy, who's playing the character of Regina, the cop in it, has made a comeback after 16 years in it. You know, we could have cast anyone, but she was perfect for it. We went to her and said, you have to come and do this. I mean, Pushkar Gayatri convinced her. But I don't want any of my characters to ever get boxed like thin and slim and no, what's written on paper, we need to be authentic to that.
Have you been directed by a woman?
Yeah, of course.
Which
twice. Anu Menon on Shakuntala, and now Nia. And Shisha Guha Thakurta on a film called Lovers, which will release later this year. But I think what we need to do differently is, you know, just keep at it. Despite the fights we have internally, despite the fights we have to take up with the world, I think we have to just keep at it. And live for ourselves, live for our dreams. You know, I know it's easier said than done, but it has to be done, because if we don't, then who will?
Time for a short break on the show. When we come back, we have singing sensation Palak Muchhal with her chart buster songs. One of them is Kaun Tujhe Yun Pyar Karega. Beautiful song from Dhoni, and lots more from Ekta Tiger, Ashiki, and so many of them. Stay tuned. We meet after the break. Welcome back to Now Showing. I'm Atika Farooqui. Sohum Shah, the star and the producer of the critically acclaimed film Dobaaraa and Sony Liv's popular political drama Maharani, picked up an Irfan Khan starrer when we asked him to name the film that changed his life. It's the film that also continues to inspire him about acting and the world. Listen in.
मैं श्री गंगानगर से हूँ, छोटी सी जगह से, और मासी फिल्में देखकर मैं पला बड़ा हूँ। पर एक दिन मैंने एक फिल्म देखी, पान सिंह तोमर। उस फिल्म ने मेरी लाइफ बदल दी। मतलब उस फिल्म का क्या डायरेक्शन था। मतलब स्टोरी एक फ़ौजी की जो गोल्ड मेडल जीतता है, पर अपने घर के झगड़ों में आसपास की जो सोसाइटी है उसे अलाउ नहीं करती है जो करने के लिए, उसे फंसा देती है एक ऐसी सिचुएशन में कि जहाँ पर उसको फ़ौजी से डकैत बनना पड़ता है। तो मुझे लगा कि यार क्या फ़िल्म है, क्या डायरेक्शन है। एक राजीव गुप्ता उसमें एक एक्टर हैं जिन्होंने एक पुलिस ऑफिसर का रोल प्ले किया है। वो मतलब कि एक सीन है जहाँ इरफान उनके पास जाते हैं अपनी बात कहने के लिए, और वो मतलब कुछ और ही बातों में इंटरेस्टेड है। वो कहते हैं इस गोल्ड मेडल की कोई वैल्यू नहीं है। और ख़ासकर मैं इरफान साहब के तो प्यार में पड़ गया वो फिल्म देखकर कि क्या जादू था वो। कि जब मैं सिनेमा घर से निकला, मैंने बॉम्बे में देखी थी सिटी मॉल के अंदर, तो मुझे याद है कि मैं 2-3 दिन सो नहीं पाया था कि एक एक्टर जो कहीं भी एफर्ट नहीं डाल रहा है, कोई भी सीन को ऐसा नाटकीय तरीके से कोई उसमें आइटम करने की कोशिश नहीं कर रहा है, सहजता से आपको एक फिल्म दिखाता है और वो आपके जहन में रह जाता है। फिर मैंने इनका जो दिग्वांशु सर ने डायरेक्ट की थी हासिल, पान सिंह तोमर भी उन्होंने डायरेक्ट की थी और इरफान साहब भी थे उसमें, मैंने वो फिल्म देखी तो मुझे लगा क्या जादू है। तो मेरी सेंसिबिलिटीज़ चेंज हो गई सिनेमा के लिए कि यार मुझे ये करना है। तो वहाँ से जो मैं उसके प्यार में पड़ा, एक्टिंग के प्यार में पड़ा, मैंने अपनी एक्टिंग पर बहुत काम किया, मुझे इतना सीखने को मिला और मैं फॉर्चुनेट था कि मुझे उसके बाद इरफान साहब के साथ काम करने का मौका मिला, कि मुझे तलवार में उनके साथ काम करने का मौका मिला। तो मैंने उनसे पूछा कि साहब कैसे कर लेते हो ये सब? तो उन्होंने मुझे बात कही जो मुझे आज तक याद है। उन्होंने कहा कि यार सोहम, हम खोज ही रहे हैं। तो मतलब वो इतने इवॉल्व्ड आदमी थे कि वो सिर्फ एक्टिंग की बात नहीं है, जब आपकी पर्सनल लाइफ में आपकी कुछ ग्रोथ होती है तो वो एज एन एक्टर दिखती है। तो वो पान सिंह तोमर से मेरा ऐसा कनेक्शन हुआ है इरफान साहब से कि मेरे लिए इन 10 साल की जर्नी में सबसे मेमोरेबल चीज़ जो मेरे लिए है जो वो ये है कि मैं इरफान साहब के साथ काम कर पाया। और आज भी मैं उनके साथ कनेक्शन फील करता हूँ। आज भी मैं कुछ एक्टिंग करता हूँ तो मुझे पता नहीं उनसे बहुत ही इंस्पिरेशन मिलती है। तो ये कमाल होता है एक ऐसी फिल्म का जो आपकी पूरा आपका पर्सपेक्टिव चेंज कर देती है, आपका सिनेमा चेंज कर देती है, आपका देखने का नज़रिया बदल देती है।
One of Bollywood's favorite singer, Palak Muchhal, is the voice behind some of the biggest chartbusters like Lapata from Ek Tha Tiger, Kaun Tujhe Yun Pyar Karega from MS Dhoni. She has completed 10 years as a playback singer. This angelic voice also has a heart of gold, who wants to touch people's hearts, not just with her songs, but also with her good deeds. You would be amazed when you know what and how. My colleague Vishal Chatkara spoke to Palak about all of them.
आँखों बंद करके धीमे धीमे गिन गिन के ढूंढो हमें हम हैं कहाँ, भोले से फसाने हैं जमी से बेगारे हैं, देखो हुए हम तो हवा, दिल के किनारे ख्वाबों के नीचे है खोया खोया अपना जहां, मैं लापता
Palak, first, congratulations for completing 10 years at the movies. Exactly 10 years ago, on 15th August 2012, Salman Khan's starrer Ek Tha Tiger was released. You, of course, made your debut as a playback singer with that film, with the song, of course, Lapata. It was also Salman Khan who recommended your name for the film. But now, looking back, how accomplished do you feel as a singer while celebrating your first decade?
It feels surreal. The journey has truly been blessed. It's just been work, good people. When I started with Ek Tha Tiger, I never thought that I would get so many songs to sing. But now looking back at the journey and the filmography, I feel truly blessed.
You know, I have to talk to you about your social work that you've been doing even before joining the movies. Your charitable foundation, Save the Little Hearts, have successfully done over 2,200 surgeries till now. When and how you got involved in this social work and started giving back to the society?
When I was 5, I actively started participating in charitable activities and concerts. So at that time, Kargil war had happened. So that time I went from shop to shop around my house, and I would tell the shopkeeper uncle that I would sing "Ae Mere Watan Ke Logo" for you, and please donate something for Kargil soldiers. And I managed to collect 25,000 rupees by doing so. So then I got this realization that time that this gift that I've received from God in form of singing, it's not only limited to a hobby or a career. And a child named Lokesh came to me who had a hole in his heart, and his parents were in need of funds for his operation. And they asked me if I could do something for the child as well. And me and my brother, we performed for the kid who was suffering from a heart disease. Then more kids came to us for help. And now 2,504 surgeries have happened so far. There are still 423 kids waiting in my list to get operated. So yeah, now it's the major part of my life, main part of my life.
More power to you, Palak. Do you think now composition based on ragas are disappearing?
Sadly, yes. But I think it's all a cycle. Maybe, we are going through a transition, we are going through a phase, and it's all going to come back. And I would like to believe that, because that is something we have to hold on to, because that's our root, that is our uniqueness.
So then coming back to your journey, after Lapata, what do you think was your personal career high? Which song you think was the next milestone in your musical journey? Would you say Ashiki 2?
Yeah, I think Ashiki 2 was the turning point in my career. After Ashiki 2, there was no looking back. It got me a different level of recognition, respect as an artist. I have been very, very lucky to have many milestones like that in my career, be it Prem Ratan Dhan Payo, or even Kaun Tujhe from MS Dhoni, or be it Shesha also even. But if I have to like mention one particular turning point, that would be Aashiki. तू ही ये मुझको बता दे, चाहूं मैं या ना, अपनी तो दिल का पता दे, चाहूं मैं या ना.
You know, I have to speak to you about your songs in other languages like Tamil, Kannada, and Bengali. Which language apart from Hindi that comes easy to you? I really like your Kannada song, Enemy, Enemy.
Enemy. Yeah. I have been singing in different languages ever since I was a kid. So I used to travel a lot, do a lot of concerts for heart patients along with my brother. So I would make it a thing like if I'm performing in South, if I'm performing in Chennai, I would sing in Tamil. If I'm performing in Bangalore, I would sing in Kannada. Even when I traveled abroad, I would sing in Swahili and Arabic and languages like those. And easiest I would say after Hindi is actually Bengali and Gujarati. Yeah. Very similar.
So then please give us a few lines of any of your favorite song, either in Bengali or in Gujarati.
I'll sing a song by Lata ji actually in Bengali. Naam mono lage জীবনে কিছু যেন ভালো লাগে না মনো লাগে.
With that, we are in the last leg of the show. जिस काम को तू हमें मना करेगा ना से, जिस काम को तू हमें मना करेगा ना से, हम छोड़ के 100 काम वही काम करेंगे. This quote or शेर by Riaz Khairabadi implores us to be like a child. Be at it. लगे रहो, वो सुबह कभी तो आएगी. So take good care of yourself and your dreams. मिलते हैं next week. Till then, ciao.